Just so everyone knows and we're on the same calendar, we are 17 days away from the NFL draft.
And I have a feeling we'll talk draft every day until then.
Probably.
What a blessing.
Let's get to this story, though. Over the weekend, or should I say Sunday, the Ravens signed Odell Beckham Jr. to a one-year, $18 million deal. Well, it's actually $15 guaranteed, $3 million in incentives. According to reports, Odell Beckham gave the Jets a chance to match the Ravens' contract offer. And I was wondering what this would do regarding Lamar Jackson. Well, apparently Lamar Jackson's happy with it because they were both seen celebrating the signing in a Miami club.
Oh, that's great.
Over the weekend. Your thoughts on the signing, though?
It'll end Odell's career. And second of all, this is a guy, I told you, who the hell's going to sign you to a multi-year deal when you won't work out for anybody? I'll be honest, the Ravens are a very intelligent organization, but I have no understanding, Rico, what the hell they're doing this offseason.
I think the Ravens put a hard line in the sand. And I told David pre-show, I think Lamar comes back for 1 year on that, $32 million contract. Not going to budge. We told you what it was. We didn't have to do all this drama. You could have just come back and signed this thing, and we'll reevaluate this next year. Now you have a receiver. Now, if you're Lamar, you can kind of bet on yourself because you got Odell. You can throw the ball around. You're not just throwing to Andrews. So I think this is it for him. I mean, he'll come back because he's got his guy, but he'll do it for the for that 1 year contract.
Let's move over to New England because
another franchise that I have a lot of respect for that I feel like they are cracked out. I don't know what's going on there.
And I need to know what's going on because more reports come out per SI that the Patriots, Mac Jones, has lost support in the building. Like, he has no support in the building. Like, what are we doing here?
So it's turning into Zach Wilson.
Yeah, are they giving up on Mac Jones
the reports
easily?
this weekend are they are upset at a management level that he sought outside counsel and coaching for help. And by the way, what I would argue is he had a really nice rookie year with Josh McDaniels. You decided when McDaniels left to give him Grimace, a defensive coach who's going to be his OC.
Yeah, just go out there and throw the ball around. What's the progression? Stuff.
Texas,
hit the wide open guy.
Let me ask you a question right now. I mean, if you were a team like the Raiders who could use a quarterback, play Jimmy G for 1 year, Mac recalibrate. Like, David, wouldn't you look to acquire a Mac Jones for less and work with him? He was good as a rookie.
If I was the Raiders, I would have wanted him over Jimmy G.
Here's the thing.
It's McDaniels. Good call.
Or, you know what? What if you're the Texans and we'll take him and we'll just go out and draft the best defensive player? We'll take the proven QB.
It's interesting you say that because there are rumors that they are looking to not take a QB at number 2 overall. Maybe you do that. Maybe you take Will Anderson and you trade for Mac Jones.
I got a hard time believing it. I know it's misinformation season. That's why I'm not getting crazy. I got a real hard time believing after you've shown your fans Davis Mills, you traded Deshaun, you're like, yeah, let's run it back. Come on.
But Mac Jones is a proven commodity.
Sort of. We think he's okay. I'm still taking a QB at 2.
I'm not going to count last year because he did not have an offensive coordinator. That wasn't fair to him.
No, he had Gargamel.
He had Gargamel. Let's get to this here because I did give you all a question on Friday when we were talking football regarding the first wide receiver to be taken, Jackson Smith and Jigba. Where there's a report here, Jim Nagy, who was a former NFL scout who runs the Senior Bowl, said that he spoke to numerous teams and believes the league isn't nearly as high on this year's group of wide receivers as those in the media were projecting. And then Peter King kind of doubled down on it and says a lot of GMs only have one receiver with a first-round grade. That's Smith and Jigba or Addison. So they're looking at one receiver with a first-round grade. Are you surprised by that with this class?
No, David, because I was getting ready to do the over-under for the draft, and I had it at 2.5 for receivers taken in the first round because you don't necessarily need to draft a wide receiver. They're becoming running backs where unless you take that guy, you could wait and get a good wide receiver, 3rd round, 4th round. I mean, look at the line. Amon-Ra St. Brown. He wasn't a first rounder, but valuable to the team.
I also think for a lot of these players, David, the way offenses are working, if you're 5'10", you're a slot-only receiver, very difficult to use first-round capital on that player. Rico's right. There are a zillion guys who can play the slot. The guys that you prioritize are the boundary, 6'3", big body guys, contest catch guys.
The difference makers.
Yeah, I just would have a hard time taking, like, for instance, Zay Flowers, the kid out of Boston College. Now, nobody watches BC. I'm a loser. Zay Flowers is an NFL receiver, but he's 5'9 and a half. You'll never be, unless you're Tyreek Hill, you will never be a guy I target 100 times. Then why the hell am I taking you in the first round? Doesn't make any sense.
Right. So, yeah, unless you're a Jamar Chase type of guy.
That's right. I agree with
Justin Jefferson, no, you pass.
So, Mike, what is one of the rules we have here on the show regarding running backs?
We do not pay running backs.
Oh, you draft them in the first 5 picks.
We do not draft running backs in the first round.
We do not pay running backs is correct. Well, the Browns are not paying one of their other running backs, and that is Kareem Hunt. They will be moving on from him. The team believes his speed is slipping, and other NFL teams are disinterested, according to reports. Now, this is a guy who wanted out last year, who wanted an opportunity, thought teams would pay him. Well, they're not so much interested in him anymore. Are you surprised?
No.
Is his career over?
No. Hold on. This is the natural progression, and it's why
we do not pay running backs.
Okay, so when you look at Kareem Hunt's career, Kareem Hunt has played 6 seasons in the National Football League and now he will be 28 this year. What do we not do when running back's first contract is over?
We do not pay running backs.
Bang! It's just real-life evidence. They are toothpaste. You use it up and throw it out. That's what running backs are. No disrespect.
Sad but true.
It is sad but true.
David, I think he'll end up on a team, but as that backup guy, or like, you know what, you go to a contender and you just need maybe a veteran presence in case the moment's too big for your
after the
back.
draft, a team needs a running back.
Like Zeke Elliott will bounce back. He won't be the premier back.
Guess what, a janitor? He's done.
He'll bounce back. He's a little traumatized over his final play as a Cowboy.
He is done.
That was just mental abuse right there.
Done. Yes,
and let's end it with this. Speaking of done, well, we have a retirement in the NFL. It is John Elway. He said he is done from football. I don't have that desire to climb another mountain. I've been to the summit a bunch of times in 62 years. Just a reminder for people in his tenure running the Denver Broncos, he drafted Brock Osweiler, Trevor Siemian, and Drew Lock. I believe that football's been done with him for a very long time.
Yeah, his ability or inability to identify quarterbacks, short of Frankenstein edition Peyton Manning wanting to be a Bronco, that's why you're not with us anymore.
It's why I'm always leery when the local legend gets a management position, because you give them way more leeway. Yeah, kind of looking at you, Kenny. You give them way more leeway, and you're afraid to say anything because look at all the success they brought as a player. But then when you look at it as a whole, like, wow, that we probably held on to this guy too long.
Yeah, not great.
Jake Locker.
Plus new ownership, too.
Correct. That is in football today.